The cries in the dark. The space station floated silently in the dark corner of the galaxy. It was cold, lonely, and almost forgotten. People came here only for secret work, dangerous work. No one came for kindness. No one came for mercy. Inside one of the broken docking bays, a small alien ship was hidden under metal parts and garbage. The ship was damaged, smoke leaking from its side. Inside the ship, an alien mother held her small child close. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes wide with fear. The child was shaking. He looked weak, sick, scared. She whispered, "She don't cry. They will hear us." She sent out a weak signal, a message for help. It repeated again and again. "Please, help us. We are not soldiers. We just want to live." But no one answered. Across the station, people heard the signal, but ignored it. Another alien, probably a trap, one mechanic, said, "Not our problem," said a guard. No one cared. No one wanted to risk their life for strangers, especially not aliens, but far away. In a quiet corner of the station, a human soldier sat alone. His name was Eli Ward. He was young, but his eyes looked tired. He had seen too much war, too much pain. Eli's old radio crackled. The message came through, "Please, help us." He paused, turned up the volume. Again, the same soft voice, "Mother, begging." He looked around. Others acted like they didn't hear it. Eli stood up slowly. He walked to his commander. "There's a distress signal," he said. His commander didn't look up. "Ignore it. But it's a woman and a child, could be a trap. We're not here to save anyone." Eli felt something heavy in his chest. He remembered his own mother's voice. Long ago, before the war, he turned and walked away. In the dark tunnels of the station, Eli moved carefully. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. He followed the signal. It led him deeper and deeper where the lights were broken and the cameras didn't work. He reached the docking bay. It was cold, silent. He saw the broken alien ship. Eli raised his weapon slowly. "Hello?" He called out, "I heard your signal. I'm not here to hurt you." Silence. He moved closer, slowly, carefully, then a small sound. A cry. He saw them. The alien mother was hiding behind a wall of broken parts. She held her child tight. She was hurt, bleeding from her side. Her eyes were wide with fear. Eli lowered his weapon. "It's okay," he said. "I'm human, but I'm not like the others." She didn't move. The child coughed. Weak, sad sound. Eli took off his helmet, showed his face. He called for help. Came. The alien mother's hand shook. She finally spoke. "They're hunting us. Please, he's just a child." Eli looked at the child. He was small, maybe 4 or 5 years old in human years. His eyes glowed faintly. Looked up at Eli not with fear, but with hope. Before Eli could speak, the air changed. A strange sound came from the tunnel behind him. Click, click, scrape. Something was coming. The mother's eyes grew wide. "They found us." Eli turned quickly. He raised his weapon again. Out of the shadows came nothing, just darkness. But the sound was real. Getting closer, the mother whispered, "They can't be seen, only felt." Eli stepped in front of her. "If they want you, they'll have to come through me." Sound stopped, then silence again. Eli turned back to her. "We need to move now." The alien mother nodded. She stood slowly, holding her child. Eli offered his hand. She took it. Together, they stepped into the dark tunnel. The tunnel was cold and dark. Small red lights blinked from broken wires in the ceiling. Steam hissed from old vents. Eli moved quickly, the alien mother and child behind him. His boots were silent, but his heart was loud. They had no map, no guide, just fear and trust. The alien mother limped. Her wound was getting worse. Eli stopped. "Sit here for a minute." She sat near a wall. Her child curled up beside her. Eli opened a small pouch from his suit, pulled out a basic med kit. "This will sting," he said. The mother flinched as he cleaned her wound, but she didn't cry out. She stayed strong for her child. "What's your name?" Eli asked softly. After a pause, she answered, "Sahari." He looked at the child. And him. Sahari touched the boy's head gently. "His name is Kale." Kale blinked up at Eli with large, glowing eyes. They weren't just beautiful, they were strange, like stars were hiding inside them. Eli frowned slightly. "He's different." Sahari nodded. "That's why they want him." A noise echoed through the tunnel. Not close, but not far. Eli stood fast, weapon ready. "They're still hunting," he said. He looked at Kale again. "What? Is he?" Eli asked. Shira hesitated. "He's my son, but he's also more." Eli waited for her to explain. Sahari's voice was quiet. "They did something to me in the labs before I escaped. They changed my DNA to grow something stronger, smarter. Kale was born with powers they don't understand. They want to control him." Eli's eyes narrowed. "So, he's not just a child, he's a weapon." "No," she said quickly. "He's still a child, my child, but yes. They think he's the future of war." Eli looked away. He had seen this before. Governments using lives like tools. Testing weapons on the weak, sacrificing people for power. He hated it. "I won't let them take him," Eli said. Shira looked at him with surprise. "Why are you helping us?" Eli didn't answer at first. Then he said, "Because no one helped my family when I was young. I won't walk away now." They began moving again. Kale walked beside Eli now, holding his hand. The small alien boy didn't speak, but he watched everything. His eyes glowed softly in the dark. Suddenly Kale stopped. He pointed to a wall. "What is it?" Eli asked. The boy touched the wall gently, and the metal moved. A small door appeared. Eli stepped back. How did he do that? Sahari looked just as shocked. Kale opened the door. Inside was an old maintenance tunnel, forgotten for years. They went in. Inside, it was quieter, safe for now. They found an old control room. Dusty screens, broken chairs, wires hanging like spider webs. But Eli found a working terminal. He powered it up. "This system is dead," he said. "But maybe I can scan for heat signatures." He typed quickly. On the screen, red dots appeared. 1 dot them, 3 other dots close. "Moving fast. They're coming," Eli said. "They're tracking us." Sahari looked at Kale. "He can't keep running." Eli stood. "Then we don't. Run." He walked to the door, checking his gun. He had only a few rounds left. Sarah stood too. "We'll fight together." Eli looked at her. "Can you fight?" She nodded. "I was trained before I became a test subject. I remember how to fight." Kale watched them both, then stepped forward. He raised his hand slowly. The ground trembled. The room glowed for a second, then stopped. "What did he just do?" Eli asked. Shira was breathing hard. "I don't know." Minutes passed. Then the hunters arrived. Black armor, silent steps. Red eyes under helmets, Eli opened fire. The first 2 soldiers dropped, but the third rushed forward. Sahari tackled him, fought like a shadow, fast and angry. But more came. Kale screamed, "A!" A pulse of blue energy exploded from his body. Time stopped. Everything. Froze Eli, Sahari, the attackers. Then dashlight, and the attackers were gone. Dust. Silence. Eli slowly stood up. "Kale, what was that?" Kale looked confused, scared, tired. Sarah ran to him and held him tight. "He doesn't know what he's doing yet," she whispered, "but he's growing fast." Eli stared at the child. He was no normal boy, but he was still just a boy. They moved again, this time slower. Careful, Eli had made a choice. He wasn't just helping anymore, he was protecting. Sahari looked at him. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, I do," he said. "I've been a soldier all my life, but this is the first time it feels right." The old maintenance tunnel was quiet again. But silence here didn't mean safety. Eli walked ahead with his weapon raised. Behind him, Sahari held Kale in her arms. The boy was sleeping, but his skin still glowed with a soft blue light. "Whatever," Energy had exploded from him before it had drained him. Eli's mind was racing. What was that power? Why didn't the military say anything about a child like this? But he wasn't just protecting refugees anymore. He was part of something much bigger. Suddenly, Eli stopped. Something felt wrong. The air had changed. Colder. Heavier than he heard it. Click. Scrape. Whispered it wasn't metal or machine. It was alive. Eli motioned to Sahari. Stay behind me. Hold him tight. They stood still. The shadows around them began to move slowly like smoke from the darkness. Something stepped forward, but it didn't walk. It floated. A tall figure in black armor shaped like a human but with no face. No eyes. Just a smooth black mask and a strange red glow from its chest. Eli had never seen anything like it. Identify yourself, he shouted. The figure didn't speak. It only raised one arm, and the shadows around it pulsed. Sahari whispered, Shadow Hunters. Eli turned. You know them? They were created to track escaped test subjects, she said. They're not soldiers. They're machines with one purpose. Eli aimed his rifle, and let's break them. He fired. The bullets passed through the hunter's body like mist, but the glow in its chest flickered. The hunter moved fast, faster than anything Eli had ever seen. It reached him in seconds, slamming him into a wall. Pain shot through Eli's body, but he didn't let go of his gun. He twisted, rolled, and fired again, this time into the chest glow. Boom. The hunter exploded into black dust. But then, 3 more appeared. Sahari stepped forward. Her eyes glowed faintly now too. Kale's power running through her blood. She raised both hands. Small energy blades formed from her palms. Run, she shouted to Eli. I'll hold them. But Eli didn't. Run, not leaving you. He tossed a grenade into the tunnel and pulled Sahari back as it exploded. The fireball swallowed the hunters, but the shadows didn't burn. They kept coming. Eli turned to Kale. The child had opened his eyes. He was awake now. He stood slowly and walked forward. Kale, no. Sahari cried out, but it was too late. Kale raised both hands. His small fingers spread wide. The tunnel filled with blue light, bright, sharp. Humming, and then silence. The hunters froze. They stopped moving. And one by one, crumbled into ash, the shadows disappeared. Kale fell to his knees. Eli ran to him and caught him. His skin was cold. Sahari touched her son's forehead. He's okay, but his power is growing faster than his body can handle. Eli nodded. We need to get off this station. Now. They moved quickly now. Eli used the old map from the control room. There was a hidden dock on the far side, rarely used. Maybe still working, but time was running out. Sahari was growing weaker again, and Kale was silent. He hadn't spoken since they met him. Can he talk? Eli asked. Sahari nodded, only to me, sometimes with pictures in my mind. He doesn't. Use words like us. As they walked, Kale touched Eli's arm. Suddenly, Eli saw something in his mind. A bright planet. Safe. Green trees. Blue sky. A home. Kale whispered in Eli's head. I want to go there. Eli stopped walking for a second. That voice, it was clear, calm, and not from Earth. I'll get you there, Eli said softly. Promise. But promises are hard in war. As they neared the hidden dock, another threat waited. Not shadows. Humans, eh? Squad of elite soldiers, fully armed, stood near the only working ship, and leading them was a woman in black armor with a silver Ajdat, Commander Reyes. Eli recognized her, his old team leader. She looked at him with cold eyes. You always had. A soft heart, Eli. Eli stepped in front of Sahari and Kale. I'm not letting you take them. Reyes smiled. It's not up to you. That child is property of the Defense Science Unit. He belongs to us. He's a child, not a weapon, Eli said. Reyes raised her weapon. Move aside. Eli didn't move. Then Kale stepped beside him. He raised one hand, but this time Eli placed his own hand gently on Kale's shoulder. "Not yet," he whispered. "Not unless we have to." He looked at Reyes. "I'm giving you one chance. Walk away." Reyes laughed, "Then die with them." Asterisk. The soldiers aimed their guns. Kale's eyes glowed bright, and everything began to shake. Double quotes next. Loading his last bullet. Let's see what makes a real monster. Asterisk. The air inside the docking bay felt thick like the calm before. A storm? Eli stood tall, weapon in hand. Sahari stood behind him, shielding Kale. Across from them, Commander Reyes and her team of elite soldiers aimed their rifles. Reyes' voice was cold. "You always knew how to pick the wrong side, Eli." Eli didn't blink. "There's only one side now, the one that protects him." He smiled bitterly. "That child is not your problem. He's not even alive the way we are. He was made, built, designed to end wars." Eli looked down at Kale. The boy's eyes glowed softly, but his face was innocent. He was still just a child. "Then maybe it's time we stop building weapons and start saving lives," Eli said. Reyes raised her hand. "Take them." The soldiers moved forward. Eli fired first clean. Sharp shots. One soldier dropped. Shara leapt into the air, her energy blades glowing. She moved like light, cutting down to attackers in seconds. But there were too many. A grenade hit the ground. Eli grabbed Kale and ran behind cover. The blast threw Sahari back. She hit the wall hard and didn't move. "Sahari!" Eli shouted. God. Kale crawled to her, shaking her shoulder. Her eyes fluttered open, barely. "I'm okay." "Protect him," she whispered. The soldiers surrounded them. Kale stood, and for the first time, he spoke out loud. "No." The voice was soft but strong, not angry, but absolute. Everyone froze. Kale raised both hands. Time slowed. The soldiers, rifles jammed, the lights flickered and died. The room filled with a low hum like the sound of stars singing. Kale stepped forward. His body began to glow brighter blue, then silver, then white. Commander Reyes took a step back. She spoke into her headset. "Control, do you copy? The weapon has awakened." Her voice was nervous now. "Repeat, the weapon has awakened." Eli moved to stand between her and Kale, but Kale placed a small hand on Eli's arm. "No need," Kale said quietly. A wave of energy pulsed from him. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Some fell to their knees. Others stared, silent, afraid. Kale didn't attack them. He didn't destroy anything. He simply stopped the violence. Then Kale collapsed. His body hit the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. Eli ran to him. "Kale!" The boy was breathing, but his skin was cold again. Too much power. Too fast. Sahari crawled beside them. She held Kale. Close. "He's not a weapon," she said softly. "He's a key." Eli looked at her. A key to what? Suddenly, the wall behind them opened. An old, rusted door sealed for years. It wasn't supposed to be there, but Kale had opened it, behind. The door was a room. Glowing with ancient light, Eli helped Sahari and carried Kale. Inside, Reyes tried to follow, but the door slammed shut behind them. Inside, it was like nothing Eli had ever seen. The walls were made of smooth stone, not metal. Symbols glowed in. Strange patterns. Floating lights moved slowly like fireflies. In the center of the room, a tall pedestal stood. On top of it, a silver orb spun slowly. Kale opened his eyes. He stood and walked to the orb. Shara whispered, "This is what they wanted." Not just his power, but his connection to this. Kale touched the orb. The room lit up. Visions appeared in the air like holograms from long ago. A galaxy in flames. Machines devouring worlds. A child born from starlight meant to stop it. Eli stared in shock. This isn't just about war," he said. "This is about something bigger." Sahari nodded. Kale wasn't just made, he was chosen. The science team who created me, they found alien technology. They didn't understand it. They copied it. I was the result. but Kaylee was the first true success. Eli frowned. So what now? What happens to him? Cale turned to them. He spoke again slowly. They're coming. The real threat. Not just humans. Not just shadows. Eli looked into his eyes. What do we do? Cale touched Eli's chest. We fight. Together. Outside the sealed door, Commander Reyes screamed into her comms. Send reinforcements. Can't let them escape with the boy? But the door stayed closed. Inside. Cale placed both hands on the pedestal. The orb-cracked hand released a beam of light into the ceiling. A signal had been sent. Somewhere in the galaxy. Something woke. Up. The hidden chamber beneath the space station was silent. The glowing orb had shattered. The signal was sent. Cale stood in the center, his small body glowing faintly. His eyes were wide but calm, like he knew something even the others didn't. Eli looked up at the beam of light disappearing into the stars. Where did you send the signal? He asked. Cale turned to him. His voice was quiet. To the ones who remember. Far above them, alarms echoed through the space station. Sirens screamed. Steel doors slammed shut. Red lights flashed everywhere. Commander Reyes paced outside the sealed chamber, furious. Her voice cracked through the comms. You're inside the relic room. We need that boy alive. Ready the ship now. She turned to her men. If they escape, every star system we know may fall. Inside the chamber. Sahari touched Cale's face. You've done something dangerous. Cale blinked slowly. I called the old ones. They will help. But first, we must run. La pulled up his map again. There's only one way out now. It's not easy. He looked at a blinking red. That's an old launch tunnel on the lower level. It hadn't been used in years, but it could get them off the station. If we can reach that pod, we said we might just have a chance. Sahari nodded. Then let's move. The tunnel was dark, narrow, and steep. The group moved fast, Cale leading them now. Glowing softly in the dark, they passed broken machines, shattered glass, and old signs warning, danger unstable. Launch deck. Footsteps echoed behind them. The soldiers were close. Eli set traps as they moved, small devices that sparked when touched. Enough to slow, not kill. They weren't murderers, but they couldn't be caught. Finally, they reached the launch deck. A single escape pod sat in the center, dusty, damaged, but intact. Eli climbed in and checked the system. Still works. Barely. He looked back. Sahari and Cale stepped inside. Then dash gunfire shots rang out. Sparks flew. Eli turned Commander Reyes, stood at the tunnel entrance. A group of soldiers behind her. Don't launch that pod, she shouted. We'll shoot it down. Sahari raised her hands. Reyes stepped forward. He's not a child. He's the signal. He's the beginning of something we can't control. We built him, and we'll shut him down. Cale stepped forward. He didn't raise his hands. He didn't glow. He just said, No, you didn't build me. You copied something older, something you were never meant to touch. The floor shook. Pod powered on. The launch sequence began. Eli pulled Sahari and Cale close. You want him? He said. Come and get him. The hatch closed. The countdown began. 5, 4, 3. Reyes ran forward. Shoot them down. The pod blasted off. Outside the station, in the cold silence of space, the small pod flew like a spark across the stars. Reyes stared out the window. She didn't speak, because deep down, she was afraid, not of losing, but of what Cale had awakened inside. The pod Eli took deep breaths. The ride was rough. The ship shook, systems sparking. Sahari held Cale tight. Where are we going? She asked. Calais closed his eyes. There is a place. Far away. Safe. Where my kind once lived. The signal will lead us there. Eli checked the star map. We'll need to jump soon. But we don't have a hyperdrive. Cale looked up. You don't need one. He placed his hands on the control screen. The lights inside the pod changed from red to silver. The ship ummed. Then stars stretched, and the ship vanished. Into faster-than-light travel, hours passed. Eli slept for the first time in days. Sahar stayed awake watching Kale. He stared at the stars outside, silent. Then he spoke. "Others are coming," Sahari asked. "Like me," he whispered. "Not made in labs. Not soldiers. Just children. Hiding. Waiting." Sahari's voice shook. "Are they in danger?" Kale nodded. They heard the signal too. Suddenly the ship shook violently. Lights flickered. A warning blinked on the screen. "Unknown ship detected." Intercepting, Eli jumped awake. "What now?" It's outside. A dark shape appeared. Not human, not military. It looked old. Alien, like it was grown. Not built. Kale placed a hand on the glass. "They found us." Eli grabbed his weapon. "Who? Friends? Or enemies?" Kale said one word. "Watchers." Asterisk, the ship floated in deep space. Stars burned quietly in the distance. But inside the small pod, silence had a different weight. Eli stood by the window, gripping the edge. In front of him, a massive ship now hovered, a black living thing. It had no engines, no lights. It drifted like a ghost. And yet it had arrived. With purpose, Kale called them the Watchers, and they were waiting. Sahari held Kale's hand. Her voice was low. "Are they here to help?" Kale didn't answer. Instead, the Watcher ship opened. Not with a door, but like a flower blooming in slow motion. A light reached out, soft white, pulsing. "They want us to come inside," Kale said. Eli checked his weapon. "What if it's a trap?" Kale looked at him calmly. If it was, we'd already be gone. The trio stepped into the strange ship. The walls inside pulsed like veins. No metal, no wires. Just living material, smooth and warm. It was both beautiful and terrifying. A figure stood at the far end, not human, not machine, tall, thin, glowing softly. Its face had no eyes, only a shifting surface of light. It spoke without sound. Words appeared in Eli and Sahari's minds, not Sahari's minds. Like thoughts but memories being shared, the child is awake. Kale stepped forward. "Why did you hide me?" The Watcher's voice was patient. "We did not hide you. We scattered your kind." Survived. Sahari looked confused. "My kind?" The Watcher turned to her. "You were the carrier. The human. Experiment woke a seed long buried. Your son is not an accident. He is. Rebirth." Eli stepped forward, angry. "Rebirth of what?" The room darkened. Suddenly the air showed a vision like a memory played in light. A great war. Worlds burned. Machines built to destroy life grew stronger than their makers. So the old ones, the Watchers, hid something in the stars. Children, keys, carriers. One day, they would return. Kale was one of them. A spark of the old galaxy. Born in a lab, but carrying a code that was never human. So I fell to her. "Knees, you mean?" "He was never mine." Kale turned to her. He held her hand. "I am yours. Always." Her eyes filled with tears. "Yes," he said. "I'm both. That's why I need you." Eli stepped away. His voice was tight. "Why tell us all this now?" The Watcher answered. "Because the destroyers have seen the signal. They are coming." Eli turned. "The military." Oh, Kale said. "Worse." A new vision appeared. From deep space, something moved, cold, endless, hungry. A fleet of black machines, older than any race. Built only to erase life. The Null Core. Silent. Perfect. Final. Kale turned to Eli. "They will erase Earth and everything after it, unless we stop them." Eli took a long breath. He had been a soldier. His whole life fought for causes, followed orders. Now, there were no orders. Just a decision. "I'll fight," he said. "But not to save a galaxy. I'll fight to protect you." Kale smiled for the first time. The Watcher raised its arm. A new image appeared, an ancient battleship, hidden under Mars long ago, buried before Earth had language. "Take it," the Watcher said. "It was made by your kind, powered by his." To Earth orbit, Commander Rhea stood inside a command center. Screens glowed red. Unidentified. Ships entered solar space too many to count. Not watchers, not humans. Something else. Prepare defense grid. She ordered, but it was too late. The sky opened and the Null Core arrived. Back on the Watcher ship. Eli, Sahari, and Kale stood inside the ancient human battleship. It was waking up. Panels lit. Engines HUMME. Eli sat in the pilot seat. Never thought I'd be flying a ghost ship. Sahari smiled weakly. You're not alone. Kale stepped into the core of the ship, his body glowing like a star. The ship responded. Weapons charged. Shields activated. Kale spoke through the ship itself. Let's show them humanity is more than fear. The battleship shot forward faster than light. Toward Earth. Toward the enemy. Toward the final stand. The stars above Earth were no longer calm. From orbit, it looked like a storm of shadows had broken open. The Null Core had arrived. Thousands of black ships cold, silent, perfect in shape and speeds, surrounded the planet like a dark shell. Didn't speak, they didn't ask questions. Had one mission: erase all life. Earth's defense grid opened fire, but it was like throwing stones at a tidal wave. Inside the control room, Commander Reyes stood frozen. This enemy wasn't something she could control, and she had no weapon strong enough to stop it. But far beyond the moon, something moved. The old ship, half alien, half human, powered by Kale's energy, flew toward Earth like a silver flame. Inside, Eli sat at the helm, hands steady on the controls. Sahari stood by his side, injured but alert. Kale was at the center, glowing, connected to every part of the ship. He wasn't just a passenger now. He was the ship. Eli looked through the window. They've already reached orbit. We're late. What? Kale's voice came from everywhere. Calm, focused. We're not late. We're the last hope. The ship entered Earth's orbit immediately. Null drones broke formation and moved toward them fast, precise. Without fear, Eli rolled the ship hard. Weapons online, he shouted. Shira fired the plasma cannons. Bright blue light cut through. The dark swarm. Several Null ships exploded, but more took their place. They don't stop, Sahari said. They're not alive, Eli replied. They don't need to. Hey? Kale closed his eyes. The lights inside the ship flickered. I can. Go deeper, he said. I can connect to the core. Eli turned sharply. What does that mean? If I reach their code, I can rewrite it, not just destroy them, change them. But it will take everything, Sahari whispered. Kale nodded. His voice was soft. I was born for this. Not to fight, but to choose. Outside, the ship was hit. The shield cracked. Eli shouted, Kale, we're out of time. Kale floated in the air now, his body turning to light. He turned to Eli. I saw your memory, the night your family died. You lost everything and still chose to protect me. Eli looked down. Kale smiled. Thank you for showing me what a human really is. Then he turned to Sahari. You are my mother. It's not because of blood, but because of love. She tried to speak, but no words. Kale touched both their hands. Then he stepped into the beam at the center of the ship and disappeared at once. The entire ship lit up. A white pulse shot out, blinding, silent, beautiful. It reached the first Null Core ship and stopped it, then the next, and the next. In seconds, the entire swarm froze in place. Then something incredible happened. The ships changed, not in shape, but in purpose. Their lights turned blue. Their weapons, the threat was gone, not destroyed, transformed. Kale had done it. On Earth, people looked up and saw peace returning to the sky. Inside the control room, Commander Reyes lowered her weapon. This wasn't war, she whispered. It was evolution. But in the old ship, Kale was gone. Only silence remained in the center beam. Eli walked slowly to the spot where Kale had stood. He placed one hand there and quietly said, Good job, kid.
Oh.
3 days later, Earth had survived. But everything had changed. The Null ships now, under new control, helped rebuild. Old enemies called for peace. Fear was replaced with silence. And then with wonder, Eli and Sahari stood on a quiet beach. Watching the sea, it was the first time in years they had felt safe. Sahari held something in her hand, a crystal, left behind by Kale. It pulsed faintly. "He's not gone," she said. Eli looked at the stars. "No, he's just where he needs to be." Far away, on a quiet green world no one had mapped yet, a new child ran through fields of blue grass. He had glowing eyes, and in his smile was something both human and more. Asterisk, he was never built to destroy. He was born to choose, and he chose love over war, light over darkness, and a new beginning for the galaxy. Because sometimes, one child can change everything.